What's up? It's Jim, and this is day 4 of the Halloween week of videos, and today I will be talking about the film The Wolfman from 1941, one of the Universal monsters. Larry Talbot, played by Lon Chaney Jr., he has come back to the estate where he grew up and to see his estranged father, played by Claude Rains, after his brother has been killed. His father has this amazing telescope and he plays around with it. They look into town and he sees this amazingly beautiful girl played by Evelyn Ankers. He's not seeing her do anything dirty, he just sees her putting on some earrings. Then he goes to town and falls in love with her. Then they go on a date with her and her, well, he thinks it's a date, but then she brings her friend along and you're like, oh yeah, he would be. And then she says she's engaged, you're like, oh, women, you know. They go to have their fortunes read from a gypsy played by Bela Lugosi. In a pretty memorable role. I thought he was actually pretty decent in this. Sometimes I think when you see Bela Lugosi, it's hard to not think of Dracula, but I wasn't thinking, I mean, I know it's Bela Lugosi, so I'm gonna think of Dracula, but not too much. He starts reading the other girl's fortune while Lon Chaney Jr. and Evelyn Ankers go off, and then he becomes a werewolf, attacks her, and then Lon Chaney Jr. goes to fight him off and try to save the girl, but to alas, she's killed, and he gets bitten and finds out that he has the curse of the werewolf. This film is different from most of the werewolf stories we know. You'd expect for this film to have kind of a full moon. He starts changing because of the full moon. However, this film doesn't have that. The change is more random. It's supposed to be because wolfsbane's blooming in the autumn. He just becomes a werewolf kind of randomly every night. He doesn't exactly know when it's going to happen. So that's kind of spookier and scarier than the myth that we're led to believe now. This is directed by George Wagner. I do like this film. It's a cool Universal monster film. It's not a bad movie or anything, but I think if you compare it to Dracula or Frankenstein, which is directed by Todd Browning and James Whale, who are both really great directors, really have a style and a spookiness and a fun to their direction. I don't get that from George Wagner. I think he's a very competent studio director. He would later go on to direct TV. He directed the Batman series with Adam West. He directed stuff for Maverick. And I don't think he's like a bad director or anything. There's a difference between just a regular studio hired hand kind of director and Todd Browning and James Whale. This film came out in 1941. Universal was kind of nervous about putting this out because they didn't think horror would really sell in a post-Pearl Harbor world, you know. They were very sensitive about it, but this film was a very big hit. It was actually, they had made other Wolfman movies before this and they had never been as successful as this film was. This film was a big success. It made actually several sequels, but never its own sequel. It was always like The Wolfman meets Frankenstein, or I think he was in Dracula's Tomb, and he was in Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, but it was never like The Wolfman Strikes Back or something like that. They just never did that. I'm curious why, because I think Lon Chaney Jr. was up to the challenge. He's a good actor. Lon Chaney Jr., who is the son of the silent film actor Lon Chaney, although in this film he's credited as Lon Chaney. For a long time I thought they were like the same guy, and I didn't understand it. And I don't know why they just credit him as Lon Chaney, because that's confusing. But I guess most people in 1941 understood that Lon Chaney had died and that he wasn't in The Wolfman. He considered the role his baby. He did it in Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein. He did it several times. He just wouldn't really let it go. But I can't imagine anyone else playing it because the human side is so gentle and soft-spoken, whereas the Wolfman side is like more aggressive and angry and like, you know, will kill people. And that's a nice juxtaposition. It makes the transformation seem all that more horrifying. It's really where all the Wolfman movies and most of what we understand about werewolves in our culture comes from this film. And even like there's a poem in it that's often used. It's very influential. So if you have seen The Wolfman and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to. And come back tomorrow for the final day of the Halloween week of videos on Halloween. And have a great day, I guess. Or a spooky day. It's like Hallow's Eve right now. Ooh.